appreciate all you guys coming to support this great rally that we have for freedom. We're marching today. We're marching for cannabis. We're marching for freedom. We're marching for our rights to make things happen in our community.
I met a group of people out in Harrisburg, Oregon, who decided that they would like to import hemp, from Spain through France. And so we did, and we had to get the DEA's permission. So we imported this hemp, and then we took that hemp and we made boards out of it. This is really a nice guitar, and this is a really old piece of wood. The wood is older than the guitar. So what's going on is I've got this piece of wood that's 20 years old, and it hasn't aged a day, right? And it was made out of hemp fibers that we imported from Spain through France. And we were able to prove through this piece of wood right here, or actually medium density fiberboard, that we could actually create medium density fiberboard. And that because of that, we have the ability to change the dynamic in the woods, okay? Now we proved this 20 years ago, but because we do not have, anywhere in the world, we do not have enough adequate supply to actually do it. I mean, nobody's growing hemp fields in the United States unless you run out in Nebraska and get some of the ditchweed. I mean, it is everywhere. You know it is. You've seen it. And that's what's going on, you know? We just don't have a real supply. If we ever had a supply, I mean, tomorrow, we could be producing boards out of hemp. We could be turning all the herd in the inside of the stock into viscose and making, you know, chairs for astronauts that will never break. You know, we could do things that you couldn't even imagine, but we actually can because we got a big imagination. So one of the reasons that I keep fighting, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, is I believe.
One of the things, folks, you got to remember that now as we're going towards legalization, we need to have rights. You know, you can't just accept any medicine that's out there, any marijuana that's out there. You know, NORML, especially here locally, Oregon NORML, they're your consumers' rights organization. You know, they're the ones that are going to help you make sure that your medicine, your recreational substance, your religious substance is yours. So remember that, folks. Support Oregon NORML, support National NORML, because they're the consumer movement for you. You know, it's like we need a consumer movement now that we're going to be legalized soon here in Oregon, 2014. So we really need to stay close to that and watch the medicine that we have. And folks, yes, you know, we got to remember, you know, it's going to be legalized soon, but it's not yet. So you got to be, you know, careful out there, right? Everybody knows how to be careful, right? You got to be really smart about what you're doing out there. You know, it's one of the few things that we have to worry about if you're a card holder, is, you know, not in the public. Because we'd all love right here to smoke a giant bowl right now. I see Russ, he's looking mighty thirsty for a bowl, but right now Russ is going to smoke a bowl because he knows that's against the law. Russ is smart. Thank you, Russ.
Russ is afraid of jail.
Yes, Russ is afraid of jail. I'm afraid of jail. We should all be afraid of jail, right? We don't want to go there. It's not for marijuana activists. They don't allow us. You know, you can't use your medicine in jail. So why would you want to go to jail? So, in order to stay out of jail, folks, we got the 4 sayings to help keep you out of jail. Once, you know, so I'm going to say these, and I want everybody here to say them after me. So, when an officer approaches you, whether you're in your car, on your bicycle, on foot, and anywhere an officer approaches you, say, "Am I free to go, officer?"
Am I free to go, officer?
Oh, wait a minute, we need it louder than that because the officer didn't hear you. Am I free to go, officer?
Am I free to go, officer?
All right. And then the next one is, this is important because they'll try and trick you. You want to say, "I do not consent to any searches."
I do not consent to any searches.
Okay, and then, you know, you want to make sure you're able to contact one of these, somebody like myself here. So, I wish to speak to an attorney.
I wish to speak to an attorney.
Yes. And remember, and then the other thing now, our Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, in their wisdom, has said that you must speak to remain silent. It doesn't make sense, but you know, these are just some old folks in Washington, D.C. So, number 4 is, I wish to remain silent.
I wish to remain silent.
But not right now, folks. Remember that. So, all right, and I really want to thank everybody for coming out. And remember, you got to practice these sayings every day. Brushing your teeth. When you're riding the Max, riding the bus, mumble them to yourself. Look like one of those people on the bus you don't want to sit next to, right? So, am I free to go, officer?
Am I free to go, officer?
I do not consent to any searches.
I do not consent to any searches.
I wish to speak to my attorney.
I wish to speak to my attorney.
And I wish to remain silent.
I wish to remain silent.
All right, thanks, folks.
Awesome. Hey, yeah, like Urb said, I do a lot of this stuff nationally for 420 Radio. In the past 5 years, I have done 78 appearances in 33 cities across 17 states. Atlanta, Georgia, and Orlando, Florida, and Joplin, Missouri, and Houston, Texas. I've been all across the country here, and it's the same everywhere I go. Pot smokers are the same everywhere I go. They're all kind and compassionate, good, decent, law-abiding people. Well, except that one law. But other than that, really good people, and there's no reason any of them deserve to be treated like second-class citizens. And as we do this activism, one of the problems that comes along is people don't take it seriously. Oh, you're marching for pot? You want to legalize weed? Isn't there something better to do? Can't you think of something more useful to do? Well, let me explain something. Because a lot of people don't take this very seriously, even in our own community sometimes. They just think it's about getting high. Let me tell you a little story about my home state, Idaho. I just got back from Idaho because a friend of mine named Lindsay Reinhardt, who is the chief petitioner for their medical marijuana bill out there, she's a multiple sclerosis patient. There was an incident at school. Some kid got a hold of some weed, so naturally they blamed her kid for giving it to him, even though there was no evidence of that, just because she's the top medical marijuana person. And then sent cops to her house, took her kids away to foster care, and now she's facing felony charges. That same exact week, there was a case just across the county where a woman left her 3-year-old and her 10-month-old in the car alone, went back into the house, neglecting the fact that she had a loaded .45 in the car. The 3-year-old got a hold of the loaded .45 and shot the 10-month-old in the cheek. Did she get her kids taken away from her for child endangerment? No. Did the cops come to her house and start to charge her with endangering kids and feel like they needed to be put in foster care? No. But the multiple sclerosis patient who's using cannabis as medicine is a danger to her kids? That ain't right. And this is not just an isolated case. Look up Daisy Bram, B-R-A-M, Daisy Bram in California. In California, people. Wow. Where there's medical marijuana since 1996. She's been charged with child endangerment because she was breastfeeding and she's a medical marijuana patient. And they say, oh, you're passing cannabinoids through the breast milk to your baby. Despite the fact that breast milk naturally has cannabinoids in it in the first place. I found 5 cases in the past week where children aged 4 and under had gotten a hold of a loaded weapon and fired it, either hurting or killing themselves, another kid, or an adult. 5 cases. Not one of those cases were the parents charged with child endangerment or neglect or being reckless or any charge. It was just an accident. Oops, you left your kid alone with a loaded weapon. Oops, just an accident. That same week, I found 5 more cases of people busted for having a marijuana plant in their home where they were charged with child endangerment and the kids were put into foster care. Wow. That's why I come out here every year to march. That's why I fly coach all over this country to talk to people. And that's why I will not stop until we have the same equal rights as our beer drinking friends. Are you with me? Now remember, activism starts with act, and you've done the first thing by acting today. You went out and did more than 99% of any cannabis activist ever does, and you put your feet on the street, and you put your face in public, showing that you support this. So give yourselves a hand. And remember, this is not where it ends. We have bills in the legislature right now to reduce the penalties for possession of marijuana between 1 ounces and 4 ounces. We have bills to add PTSD to the medical marijuana conditions. We have bills that would actually just outright legalize marijuana, but they ain't going nowhere unless you talk to your elected officials. Now I know it's like they're not on your speed dial or nothing. I know it's not like the first person you're going to call every day. But talk to this guy, National Cannabis Coalition. Talk to this guy, Oregon NORML. Talk to any of the activists, longtime activists out here, and I'm sure they can turn you on to Oregon NORML, National Cannabis Coalition, SAFER, MPP. I don't care what acronym you want to put behind your name, as long as you're marching with me for freedom. Yeah! So let's do it. Let's stick together. Talk to your legislatures. We can get positive progress here in Oregon. And one final thing. There's some people at the national level, and I get to talk to a lot of them on a direct basis, who think Oregon ought to wait till 2016 to go for legalization. They say in 2016 it'll be a slam dunk. Well, what I don't understand is, why wouldn't it be a slam dunk even if we did try in 2014? Why not try the 7-foot jumper in 2014? And if it doesn't go in, we'll rebound and do the slam dunk in 2016. Sounds right to me. Let's fight for 2014 and let's fight for 2016, because I don't know about you, but there are 199 Oregonians getting arrested every month for marijuana. And remember, marijuana's decrim here. Anything over an ounce is a felony, so that's 199 felony arrests every month. Those people can't wait till 2016. Let's get the ball done. Let's do it in 2014. Legalize it!
It's a beautiful day in Portland, Oregon. It's so great to be here. Just to follow up on what Russ said, we are seeing such great, tremendous success all across the country. Last week, St. Louis, Missouri decriminalized marijuana. Springfield, Missouri's decriminalized marijuana. Maryland just legalized medical marijuana. Rhode Island just legalized medical marijuana dispensaries. Washington and Colorado legalizing marijuana for all adults. Here in Oregon, we have a bill 3371 that we hope to get referred into 2014 that will legalize marijuana for all adults, allow home grow. It's a great provision. I encourage you to check that out. We got PTSD added as a qualifying condition under the Medical Marijuana Act. That passed the Senate. Reducing marijuana penalties for 29 grams to 112 grams, so it's no longer a felony, it's a misdemeanor. That's likely to pass this year. Oregon's likely to have an unprecedented success at the Oregon legislature this year, and it's done because of activists. It's done because of people like you. You call your legislator, and not more than call your legislator, you just tell your truth. Everybody out here has a truth about cannabis and about how cannabis doesn't hinder your life. It helps your medical condition. It makes you more creative. It doesn't impair your life in any way. You keep spreading that truth to person after person, your friends and family, and that message just spreads, and the truth shall eventually set us all free. So keep coming to marches like this. Support Urban Design, 420 Radio, NORML, Oregon Green Free, National Green Friends. Everybody out here is working for the cause. Campaign for the restoration and regulation of hemp. Support everybody. Today, day like this, we're united on May 4th. And also I want to mention, if you got a smartphone or anything, text NCC to 420, and a couple of you win some free t-shirts today, some free swag. So text NCC to 420, get you some free t-shirts, and on a beautiful day like this, may the 4th be with us all. Thank you so much.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Hip hip hooray!
Hip hip hooray!
Hey, I want to talk to you about two things, and I want to ask you to do two things, okay? The first thing is that, I'm a proud member of the NORML Legal Committee, a national organization to reform the marijuana laws. And in our legal committee is about 450 lawyers nationally, and we look after folks that are charged with cannabis-related offenses, and we do education and outreach and other stuff. But lately the leaders of NORML, Alan St. Pierre, the executive director, and Keith Stropp, the legal counsel, have been making public statements that aren't really what NORML's about. Alan's been saying, for example, that medical marijuana is a sham. NORML doesn't think medical marijuana is a sham. but Alan says that publicly. Keith says, oh, 5 nanograms, that's okay. You know, that's probably a reasonable level for driving under the influence, and that's not NORML's position at all. NORML's been fighting hard to make sure that there aren't, per se, driving under the influence laws passed. And so what I'd like you to do, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, is I want you to write to Alan and Keith. It's Alan at norml.org, NORML.org, and Keith at norml.org, NORML.org, and let them know that you heard me talk about this, and ask them to knock it off, to quit saying stuff that's not normal, okay? Can you do that for me? We are, after years of playing defense, we've been winning. We're moving bills. And I'm also here on behalf of Compassionate Oregon. Compassionate Oregon is Anthony Taylor and what's her name? Cheryl Smith, the director of Compassionate Center in Eugene. And Anthony's been lobbying, not Anthony Johnson, but Anthony Taylor's been lobbying on behalf of Compassionate Oregon. And this is what we've been doing. We had a bill to add PTSD, passed the Senate 19-11. There's going to be a hearing in the Health Committee in the House on the 15th, and then it's going to pass the House. And then the governor's going to sign it, and then we're going to have PTSD finally as a condition that will qualify patients in Oregon. I caught up with Russ Belville about a week after he stopped working with NORML and said, what should we do? Russ, you know, in the session, Russ said, you know, it makes me crazy that in Washington, because this is before it was legalized, sort of, and not sort of before, but sort of legalized, and Idaho, and even Utah and California all have misdemeanor marijuana laws, but in Oregon, if it's less than an ounce, it's a violation, but more than an ounce, it's a felony, and any amount of hashish or hash oil or honey oil or anything that's derived from the plant is a felony no matter what the quantity is. Well, I know, guess what? the Oregon Senate, I want to say 18-12, passed a law that says if it's more than an ounce but less than 4 ounces, it's a misdemeanor, and if it's less than a 1/4 ounce of hashish or hash oil, it's a misdemeanor. That's going to go to the House. It's going to pass the House. It's going to go to the governor, and it's going to become the law. We're going to have misdemeanor marijuana in Oregon. There's another bill that the Oregon Criminal Defense Lawyers Association has worked on that, you know, I don't know if you know, but, you know, a lot of people get these tickets for less than an ounce and just pay the fine, and next thing they know, they get a letter in the mail from the Department of Motor Vehicles, their license is suspended for 6 months. Anybody know anybody that happened to besides me and John Lucy and Paul Loney? Know anybody? Well, anyway, trust me, that happens, and it's wrong. And the Oregon Senate voted, I kid you not, 24-6 to make it that the license suspension can't happen anymore for less than an ounce. And that bill is going to go to the House, and it's going to pass the House, and it's going to get signed by the governor. It's going to become the law in Oregon. We are through playing defense. We are moving laws. All we do is we show up and say, you know what? It's going to be legal. It's either going to be legal this session or next session or the next election cycle or the election cycle after that. And we need to do things that create a glide path towards legalization. And they're agreeing with us. Okay, so, you know, Anthony Taylor is volunteering his time lobbying. I've been volunteering my time. But, you know, Anthony lives out in McMinnville. He's got to drive down to Salem almost daily. He's got expenses. After I'm done talking, I'm going to walk around. I've got my bicycle helmet here, and the bicycle helmet has holes in it, and that's because no change, brothers and sisters. Well, I need some folding money that we can contribute to Compassionate Oregon to make the rest of these bills actually become law. Okay, thank you, and God bless.
Because, you know, as we all know, alcohol prohibition didn't really end until the women got involved, and I believe that's true for cannabis prohibition too. So I although I'm not speaking just to the women today, I really strongly suggest that it's time for women to step up and stand next to our brothers who have been fighting this fight for 40 years. It's time for it to end. People may not know it, but cannabis prohibition is over. It's over. It's just a matter of time. And I keep hearing these large organizations tell us to wait till 2014, wait till 2016. I'm tired of my brothers and sisters getting put in jail. I'm tired of kids being taken from their families because they choose to use a perfectly safe intoxicant after work. I am tired of being scrutinized for using a benign plant as my way to relax in the evening. And I don't want to wait till 2014. I don't want to wait till 2016. So I am calling my state legislature every day, and I am telling them it's time for them to support and pass HB 3371. That legalizes cannabis for all of us. That doesn't leave anybody out. You don't have to have PTSD. You don't have to have a card. You don't have to do anything but be over 21. Works for me, right? We can do this now. If every one of you makes the call, we can do this now. I can give you the number. Pull out your phones, I'll wait. Pull out your phones, I'll wait. I'll give you the number to call right now. You ready? Here we go. It's free to call. 800-332-2313. That number again is 800-332-2313. Call it. Give them your zip code. When they hook you up with your representative, you just have to say one sentence. Please support and pass HB 3371. That ends it for all of us. And it ends it now. That bill creates an emergency situation which would enact the law immediately. That means we don't have to wait until MPP says we can do it in 2016. That means we don't have to wait till NORML says we can do it in 2014. That means we can do it now. All you guys got to do is call. That's all. It won't take a huge amount of us to make those calls to make this happen, because they take the impact of those phone calls as being the voice of 20 of us. So imagine that, people. Every one of you out here, all 100 of you or however many there are, by you making the call, you represent 20 more of us. By making that call, you represent 20 fellow cannabis consumers. So let's make this happen now. Let's not wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want people to go to jail anymore for weed. It's stupid, it's cost inefficient, and it's just plain wrong. So please join me and call 800-332-2313.
And Anna's speaking on House Bill 3371. Guys, one thing you need to realize about that is, like, that's not us getting that together. That's the legislator getting that together. That's them. They're doing this. And so what they need is us to be the foot soldiers. They need us to help them. So it's up to us to help them pass what we need. So sometimes that's how it worked. Last year was Measure 80. We didn't get that passed. That was us. The difference is they're looking at Washington, who is already legalized, and now they are making a move because they don't want Washington to make all the tax money. Why do they want Oregonians going to Washington? All you gotta do is drive across the bridge. Why do they want that? So they're being smart right now, guys, and they need us to help them. So everybody pay attention. As Lee Berger also talked about earlier, PTSD, and there's other things, you know. You get busted once, you can lose your driver's license. Are you kidding me? I've known people that's happened to. Trying to get that changed too. So everyone, pay attention.
Let's unite today under one banner. NORML Women's Alliance, Oregon Green Free, THC, all of the organizations, Greenleaf Labs, everybody, the Wellness Center, Cannabis, we're all out here doing the same damn thing, trying to end prohibition. Like Anna said, I'm tired of seeing my people go to jail. I deal with women every day and men that cry because their children are taken away from them. You know, you think medical marijuana is enough, but it's not enough to protect your parental custody rights. They will take your baby. And just like Reinhardt, is that what her name is? Lindsay Reinhardt, she came over here and spoke here for freedom, and they took her baby from her. How can you think medical marijuana is enough? It is not enough when our people are being incarcerated, when our economy is suffering while other countries' economies prosper from industrial hemp. It is ridiculous. And you know what the biggest complaint as we moved forward with our House Bill 3371 was? We didn't get complaints from the state police. We got complaints from the local sheriff saying, where's our cut? So this is time for us to do it. You contact your representatives and you let them know that it is time to move forward with House Bill 3371 to allow us to build colleges and not more prisons. Let's send our kids to college. Let's stop sending our kids and our future to prison. You know, I'm the grandmother of 6 children, 3 boys, 3 girls, and I'm proud as hell. And you know what? I fear every day that they are being disproportionately not only incarcerated, but racial profiling is a huge problem across the nation. Our prisons are filled with blacks and whites, and poor whites and brown people like me. And I'm tired of it. You know, just because we brought marijuana to this country, god dang, guys, we try to do something good. Y'all love it when you're getting high. Don't put us in jail now, right? Help us out, folks. And I want to thank Russ and Iko, this guy who took over Oregon NORML. And it lives on, baby. Scott, Paul Loney, Lee Berger, all of you guys. I love you all. Come to the Cannabis Cafe. Let's go party.
Hey, John Lucy, law420.com. I represent Anonymous as well as Occupy, as well as the Global Cannabis Movement. So what I'm here today to do is something really simple. I'm here to help you protect your rights. So I'm going to read a little bit of information that's on every single one of my business cards back and front that you need to know when you deal with the cops or you deal with anyone who's trying to get you in front of the cops. And it's really simple, and I want you to listen and repeat it back to me. So we're going to do a little call and response. Everybody know how to do that? Everybody got that? Okay. Remember to be polite, okay? That's the critical part of this. Don't be a jerk to the cops. Just be polite. They hate it more than anything when you know your rights. So, I do not consent to any searches.
I do not consent to any searches.
I do not wish to answer any questions.
I do not wish to answer any questions.
I invoke my right to silence.
I invoke my right to silence.
And I wish to consult with my attorney.
And I wish to consult with my attorney.
We're going to do it again. You know why? Because if you remember this, you'll probably never pay me a dime. I do not consent to any searches.
I do not consent to any searches.
I do not wish to answer any questions.
I do not wish to answer any questions.
I invoke my right to silence.
I invoke my right to silence.
And I wish to consult with my attorney.
And I wish to consult with my attorney.
If you can't remember that, I've got wristbands. They just say I want my lawyer. Cards are over there if anybody needs them. You guys have a wonderful day. Unfortunately, I've got a client in custody. I got to go over to the jail and take care of it. I love you guys. Stay safe.
That's how John Lucy does, guys. He's always working. He's always working for freedom and supporting the many, many great and wonderful activists, patients, and people that we have in this cannabis community.
This song is called Medication Recreation. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Y'all see, I smoke the kind of weed that you see in your dreams. Straight out of High Times, man, you should see this green. CBDs, LNNs, and that THC. And you best not forget about that THCV. Yes, so these are the things that your body may need to help get rid of your pain or maybe cure your disease. So sit back with the sack of the finest trees. Roll one up and give your body what you know it needs. Cannabis, ganja,
marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Y'all know I hit that green carpet with all the pot stars at the Hot Times Cannabis Cup. And do you know where you are? Smoking with my friend LK in that VIP. And it's time for oil dabs. I guess I'll take 2 or 3. Yes, and then we'll smoke that J and pass along those medibles. Have you seen this place, man? These things are so incredible. Just think about it. Weed as far as the eye can see. So come on and legalize and give the people what they need. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Cannabis, ganja, marijuana. Educate to medicate and recreation. No medicine can do nothing quite like this. So please give me my cannabis. Thank y'all very much. My name is Justin James Bridges. You can check me out at justinjamesbridges.com. Free the weed.